record.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Abundant Coach Code. Clearly, you guys love your weekends. I do too. I actually just said goodbye to my husband this morning for 2 weeks. He is going to Maine and he's going hiking and he's doing lots of scary stuff that I don't like to do. So I'm like, go have a good time. He's taking his two kids. We are remarried, we are a blended family, and we always get to have lots of fun. But I'm like, okay. Okay, so we have talked about a lot. Like, this is our final step inside of the Soulful Abundance System. It is the Empower step. And this one is uh, the book wouldn't have been complete, and actually, the information that I teach and the way that we build and grow our business as entrepreneurs wouldn't be complete without this step. Because the truth is, being an entrepreneur is about honing and mastering a process that works for you, right? So it's about taking action, getting information, and tweaking it and pivoting, but staying in the game and continuing to lean in versus what we tend to do is overthink it, second guess ourselves, wonder, I don't know. We actually end up creating future problems that don't exist. A lot of times when I'm in conversations with my private clients, I'm like, okay, we just created a problem that does not exist. Like, do you realize that the worry that we've got going on here is like, it doesn't exist? So there are definitely obstacles to our success, and it's important for us to know what they are, because not only they're human obstacles, right? Like, it's not, exclusive to entrepreneurs or exclusive to women or exclusive to the coaching field. Like, these are obstacles that we are going to run up against time and time and time again. And if we don't know that they're actually an obstacle, then what it is that we do is we assign truth to them, right? There's a story that's playing in the background. And if we don't realize that, oh, actually, that's just one of the rapids that we're going to hit as we go down this river, right? Then we can kind of blame ourselves. We can feel guilty about things, and we can actually take ourselves out of the game before we've actually reached the results that we want. So, this is really important. This is obstacles to success. So, today we're going to talk about two things. We're going to talk about the 8 obstacles that you are probably going to bump up against. I know I've certainly bumped up against them. Your clients are going to bump up against them. And then we're also going to talk about, well, what do we do with it, right? We're going to shift from the obstacles and we're going to take on a new way of being, which is what a paradigm is. So, we're going to talk about empowered leader paradigms. And for those of you that are watching the replay or live here, definitely you've got your workbook. Print these out and keep them in your office so that you, or someplace. I actually created magnets of these. So I have a magnet on my refrigerator. I send a magnet out to every one of my clients because these are the things that we come back to when we start getting in our way, when we start believing the mindset blocks and the stories that are playing in the background that are sneaky, and they're really, really sneaky. They quietly sabotage our growth, they dim our confidence, and they can keep even the most gifted coaches, like the most incredible coaches, helping their clients get what it is that they are getting. And they're like, I know I'm an amazing coach. Like, my client just reached out and said this. They actually continue to play small, or they're not implementing the things that we know is going to grow their business. So, as I read these out, I just want you to, with awareness and with non judgment, this is really, really important. Like, we get to take 100% responsibility without guilt and without blame, right? Guilt is something that we put on our own shoulders, and we're like, oh, I should have done this. I should be further along. All of the shoulds that we put on our shoulders, that's the guilt piece. And the blame piece is, blaming outside circumstances, blaming Mercury retrograde, or there's an eclipse coming, so this is the problem, or it's the economy, or so and so hurt
Yeah.
my feelings, or all of the outside things, right? So, in order for us to be empowered leaders, we have to actually take responsibility 100% of the time, but without the guilt and without the blame. Because that, if we're guilting ourselves, then we've lost our own power, right? We're like, ugh, we can't do the thing. But if we're blaming somebody else or a circumstance, then we've given our power there. So just notice, have you, in the past week, have you said that maybe you would share what you do on social media, but instead you got distracted by something else? It's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do that after I tweak the font, change the color yellow, create another handout, right? This is just a quiet self-sabotage way where we tend to hide and play small. So everybody gets stuck here, by the way. No matter where you are, there is going to be a time or place in your business, whether you're emerging or even if you've been in business for a couple years, where you are going to say, yep, I need to do the thing, but instead you get distracted by something else. And that's because it feels uncomfortable to try something new, which leads us next into staying in our comfort zone or going all in. So just notice if in the past month, maybe you've seen someone you could help, but you didn't even make an invitation to them because it felt uncomfortable, right? You were worried, well, if they want to work with me, they'll just reach out. Or I created the post, and so I'm just going to wait for anybody to like just reach out to my post, and I'm not ever going to really, put myself out there or reach out to people. This is one of the most common blocks that I see because it is around making invitations. It's about rejection. What if somebody says no? What if somebody thinks that I'm just, trying to get their money? Whatever the story is that we have playing in the background. So just notice if, you are quietly thinking, I know I should do this. I know this would really be beneficial to me, but I'm probably not going to do it right now. Number three is asking others for permission. This is a really sneaky one, especially when we are working with coaches or other people that are like, I don't know, could I raise the rate? And there's a difference between having affirmation and kind of having an idea and wanting to run by it, somebody who has got the results that you already want, versus asking a colleague or a family member or somebody who has absolutely no idea about building an online coaching practice, right? And we tend to doubt ourselves. And so, we're like, I don't know, mom, what do you think? Dad, what do you think? Husband, what do you think? And we look to them to actually give us permission to charge what we really want or even to make investments, right? This is something that I see too, is we know that we want the support. We know the program would be beneficial to us, but we kind of get stuck in that, well, let me check and see if it's okay with so and so. And this is not a conversation about, having a true conversation with our spouse about, what, I want to make an investment and I would love it if you would support me in this, right? This is, we absolutely need to have money conversations if we've got shared money. This is about actually asking for permission, like, oh, I don't know if I should, could I, right? And there's a big difference in the energy that we bring to somebody when we are asking for permission versus asking for support. Asking for permission actually feels better to us. It feels more comfortable to us because then we get to share the blame. If it doesn't work, they said it was okay. So it's not all my fault, right? Yeah. So just notice if in the past 2 weeks you've doubted yourself, could I really do this? Is it really possible for me to, make this business happen? Or maybe you've doubted your pricing and you've looked to others to give you permission to charge what you really want or make the investments in the support that you really want. Number four is people pleasing over our own needs and desires. And this one is common for most of us in the wellness industry because we're so good about nurturing, right? We want to help people. We want to help make an impact in people's lives. And so we tend to put our own needs or our own work on the back burner. So just notice if in the past month you've been working on your business and you kind of put it on the back burner because somebody else wants your attention, right? Hey, mom, can you help me with A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Even though you were in the middle of doing something and you're like, sure, let me just do this first. Or sometimes we even use others as excuses not to work on our business. Oh, I can't do it because I've got this, right? So this is, we don't want to let somebody down. And so we make their priorities our priorities, right? And I shared a little bit of an example of what happened with me and my husband last year. And I had a full day. Like I was coaching my clients, I was teaching my programs, and he's like, "Hey, I've got this really important package that's coming today. I need you to sign for it." And I'm like, "Dude," I'm like, if I'm not on a call, happy to do that. But I am not going to like rearrange my whole day waiting for this important package, right? Like you stay home and wait for your package if it's that important. Like just because I'm home doesn't mean that I'm, 100% available. And it was interesting because when he got it, he was like, "Oh, you know what? You're right. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, yeah, if you can step away, and I'm like, I will tell you, I'm not going to step away from my clients, but if it's in between a call and I can sign for it, I absolutely will. Otherwise, you might want to call them when you're home and you're available to receive the package, right? So just notice, are you people pleasing over your own needs and desires? And, it could be around business, but it also could be around our own health, our own wellness, our own boundaries, things like that. Number five is waiting until we see proof before we commit, right? So just notice if in the past year, have you wanted to invest in support, but you think you actually have to have all of the money first before you invest in your business, right? This is a common one. That's why it's here. Or if you're like, yeah, I have to actually see if I can get a client first. And it's a really kind of backwards way of thinking. It's normal, it keeps us safe. We think, well, once I have all of the money first, then I can make the investment. But the truth is that if we had all the money first, we wouldn't need the help, right? We're like, oh, I can't go to a yoga class. I'm not flexible. And we're like, well, we got to go to the yoga class in order to be flexible, right? So, while logic tends to take over here, we're like, oh, I don't have it, so I can't. What I want you to just realize here is that the proof doesn't happen before you commit. The proof happens after, right? The proof doesn't happen before we commit. The proof happens after. So just like riding a bike, we can't, there is no proof that we can ride a bike until we actually commit to getting on the bike and pedaling it. And yes, we are going to crash and we are going to, have skinned knees and elbows, but the how to riding the bike doesn't come until you actually decide that you are going to ride the bike and you are going to get on and pedal. So just really important to understand that while our logic brain says, well, we should have proof first, that's actually not the way things are created. The way that things are created is by taking the action and just making the commitment without the second guessing, without the overthinking, with the just press go, so that the how can open within the context of us pressing go. Number six is waiting until tomorrow and believing that we don't have enough time, right? How many times do I even hear myself saying this, right? Oh, I'll just go, I'll do my long walk tomorrow. I'll get on the Peloton tomorrow, right? In the past month, have you delayed making a decision to take action in your business at least twice, telling yourself that you don't have enough time? Telling yourself that you don't have enough time. Here's the thing about time. Time bends to our priorities. Time bends to our priorities. It's not ever that we are going to have more time than we have right now. Time was here before we were born. Time will be here after we die. Everybody gets 24 hours. We all get the same amount of time. So this isn't about having more time. This is about deciding how you are going to make your decision and how you want to use the time. Okay, so we just get to take that whole sentence, I don't have enough time, out of our vocabulary and instead ask ourselves, I don't really have to wait until tomorrow. Like, what do I want to do with my time? Is this the way that I want to use my time that is going to help me get closer to my goal? Right? So instead of waiting until tomorrow, ask yourself, is this thing, this decision, once I make this decision, is it going to help me propel me towards my goal? Because here's what I see over and over and over again in myself and in other business owners that are highly successful. And that is, we make lots and lots of decisions. We make lots and lots of decisions. We don't wait. We will make a decision and we'll take action on it quickly. So, think about it. Somebody can make 50 decisions and get, even if they, or take 50 actions, make 50 decisions, even if they only get 50% of them right, they've still had progress in 25 different ways. Versus if we only make two decisions and we get them half right, we've only made one baby step, right? So it's not that successful people know more than you do. It's not that successful people have more willpower. It's that they make more decisions. And they're like, okay, like, let's go, let's make the decisions instead of giving away our power to time or circumstances, which is number seven, letting the circumstances decide for you, right? So we tend to give our power away to outside circumstances, such as our partner, our bank account, the things that are happening, the weather, the economy, all of these other things that are outside of us, which actually puts us in a disempowered place. I know victim can be a little bit of a trigger word, but really that's what ends up happening. We become a victim to circumstance because we are letting the circumstance tell us whether we can or whether we can't. And the truth is, circumstances are actually neutral. They're not good or they're not bad, and they actually don't get to have a say over what it is that we do or don't do. Okay, so we get to decide, just like time is all about making the decision about how we use our time. Circumstances are neutral until we assign meaning to them, right? So we get to choose the meaning around whatever circumstance is happening to decide, okay, well, it's neutral until I start making creating meaning to it. Somebody could hit my car and I could, which would be an outside circumstance that I couldn't control. And I could blame, outside circumstance on, all of the terrible things that are going to happen because somebody hit my car. Or I can say, okay, somebody hit my car. What do I want to make it mean? Like, it's neutral. The fact is somebody hit my car. I could make it mean a whole bunch of things. I could make it mean, hey, I get a new car. I mean, woohoo, let's go shopping, right? There's always a way that we can choose no matter what is happening. So what we don't want to do is let our bank account decide, time decide, our partner, or somebody who's giving us, advice that really isn't in the industry or outside circumstances be the reason why we say yes or no, because then we're not making an empowered decision. Yeah. So we just get to say yes or no, but feel good about whatever it is without blaming it on the outside circumstance. And number 8 is sitting on the fence and not making the decision, right? So just, I don't know, so I'm not going to make the decision. And that is only going to keep you stuck exactly where it is that you are right now. Because until you make the decision, you are sitting on the fence, right? You're not going right, you're not going left, you're not making any movement at all. You're just sitting there. And so I want you to ask yourself if in the past 3 months, have you known there was an important decision to make about your business or about actions or about anything? And instead of making it, you overthink it. We go back and forth. Should I? Shouldn't I? We delay on making the actual choice. And again, what that does is it keeps us stuck. There are really 3 different pathways that we get to choose going forward when we're making our business. One is what I like to call the green line. And the green line is we are making a decision and we are taking action on it and it's moving us closer to our goals. There's a yellow line, which is right in the middle. And that's like, we're not going to make any decision at all, which means that we are just staying, our trajectory is staying exactly the way it is. Or unfortunately, we can also tend to go backwards because if we're not making a decision to go forward, we're still making the decision, but we're not taking the actions to help us get there, right? And then there's the red line, and the red line is actually a downward trajectory where we know what to do, but we're actually not doing it. And so there's no way, we're just going to be on that red line and get frustrated and disempowered and actually again go even further in the hole or backwards in our decisions that are going to affect our business and our life. So you get to choose, which is the beautiful thing, right? We all get to choose. We all have the power to make whatever choice it is we want. So just notice if any of these feel strong for you and just make a little check mark on them and like, okay, yep, I see that I might be getting stuck here. And then just ask yourself, are you willing to just take one of them and be an empowered leader around that? So instead of doing the thing that is causing your self-sabotage, are you willing to do something about it? Right? This is where we get to make the decision. Am I willing to step out of this obstacle that is causing lack of success? It's actually leaving money on the table. It means that I'm not supporting people that I'm here to support. It means I'm not making money in my business. I'm not able to invest in my business the way that I want or pay back the debt that I'm already in. I know that well. I was actually 20 grand in debt and had the $100 to give to my coach when I said yes to that $10,000 program. So I know what it feels like, right? And we get to decide how we want this to go. We get to say, yes, I know I want the support. Yes, I believe in myself. Yes, I'm going to commit and let the how open, or no. And either way is fine. We just don't want any of these 8 reasons to be why you're saying no. Because if we are saying no based on any of these 8 reasons, then what we're really doing is we're making a disempowered choice, not an empowered choice. Okay, so how do we get through this? How do we move from the obstacles into an empowered way of being so that we can actually make empowered decisions? Whether we say yes or whether we say no is irrelevant. We want to actually just make an empowered decision. And the first one, and this is my most favorite, and I remind myself of this all the time, is it's me. I'm responsible 100% of the time for my results without guilt or without blame. Nobody else is responsible for it. It's me. I might think that, I want to blame it on the economy. I might think that I want to blame it on, a Zoom that didn't stream, like we had a problem yesterday, right? But the truth is, we are all 100% responsible 100% of the time with the results, the actions that we take, or the actions that we don't take. Okay. Number two, sacred self care is the foundation of a sustainable practice. I'm actually writing my second book all around this, around aligned ambition. So excited to get this out in 2026 because this is not about hustling harder. This is not working harder. This is not, trying to, figure out how we can move from 20-hour days to 12-hour days. This is making sure that your sacred self care is dialed in first. And then our business happens around it. And we actually do this, we actually help you create this in week number 2, which is setting up what we call is a freedom calendar, because we want to make sure that we get the most important things on our calendar first, right? And that is our self-care, our lives, our nutrition, our sleep, the things that we know that are that are important to us, our vacations, birthdays with the kids, dance recitals, soccer games, football games, all of those things. Those get on our calendar first, and we get to make self-care the foundation of making sure that we're fully sourced. Because if we don't, it's not going to matter how much money we make if we are not well, and if we are unhealthy, and if we are burnt out, and we feel like we need to get away from our business for, 6 months. I've seen so many successful coaches actually fall into the trap of not making sacred self-care their foundation, and they end up burning down their businesses. They end up shutting things down after a while. And so I'm a no for that. Number 3 is leaders source their experiences. So we get to source our experience, and that is a direct opposite to letting circumstances choose our experience, right? There is always a way. There's always a way. I truly, truly believe it. Not only do I feel that there's always a way to make money, and there's actually more ways that I could even possibly fathom to make money in my business, but it's up to me to source the experience that I want to have. Okay, so leaders source their experience. Number 4 is leaders choose abundance even when others choose scarcity. Even when others choose scarcity. So there are going to be people in your life that you bump up against that are fearful, that are doubtful, that are going to be asking you, do you think you could really do it? I don't know. There are multiple examples of people in the world that choose scarcity, but we get to actually choose abundance because we are in control of our thoughts. And our thoughts are what is creating our feelings in our body. Our feelings are what's creating our actions, our inactions, and our reactions, which leads me to the next one, number 5. Our most dominant thoughts create our results. Therefore, we get to take daily action to align to what we most want to receive. And here's the cool thing. When I say our most dominant thoughts, this is what are we putting on repeat 51% of the time? What do we put on repeat 51% of the time? Are we constantly in fear or doubt or worry or overthinking or wondering if this is going to work for me, or I don't know where to find clients, or all of the things that get us stuck? Or are we thinking, you know what, this is the best time for me to start a business right now? Like, this is the best time because there are so many people that are looking for support, or there are more people that I could possibly even support or handle. So we get to choose those thoughts that are going to help us be in that energetic experience of abundance, which brings more to us. I like to think of it as a train to abundance versus a train of scarcity, right? The train of scarcity is only going to take us further away from the goals, right? I don't know. I'm confused. I'm overwhelmed. I can't. I'm not sure. All of those put us in scarcity versus how could I wonder what this would look like. This is totally possible. I wonder, how I'm so excited to serve this next new client. I have no idea where they're coming from, but they're on their way, right? Those are more empowered thoughts that create feelings that allow us to stay in momentum. Okay. Leaders also allow themselves to take risks and course correct. So, all of my coaches, myself included, we do not have everything dialed in 100% of the time, right? We take risks. We're like, all right, let's try it. Like, let's let this be an experiment. Let's try this new offer. Let's try this new program. Let's, try this new talk. Let's do this thing. We are always allowing ourselves to do that because that's the only way that we get information. That's the only way that we can get the feedback of whether or not we need to course correct or whether we're going to continue, right? So successful leaders allow themselves to take risks without worrying about what somebody's going to think about me. What if I fail? What if this doesn't work out? The truth is, we need to take the shots, right? Just like Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan practices. He's taken so many basketball shots. He doesn't make them all, but every time he takes a shot, he is risking that the ball is not going to go in. I remember an interview that Michael Jordan had when I was watching during a halftime thing when he was playing professionally, and they asked him, "Hey, Michael, do you ever worry about the shots that you don't make?" And he said, "Why would I worry about a shot that I did never take? Why would I worry about a shot that I did never take?" So this, we get to allow ourselves to take risks and to trust that we'll figure it out, right? And this again comes into we get to commit before we know how. We might not know from A to Z exactly how all of the things are going to pan out. And honestly, we don't need to. We really don't need to because the how opens within the commitment. I have a friend of mine back in 2012 when I started my business, and she said, "I really want to start my business too." And I'm like, "Amazing. What do you want to do?" And she's like, "I don't know. I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. I could do this." I'm like, "Well, I'm doing this and I'm going." Like, I have no idea how it's going to work out, but this is what I'm doing. She is still trying to figure out what she wants to build a business on. I'm like, "Oh my God, girl, you just got to go. Like, pick something." Like, pick something, right? So commit, even if you don't know all the how. The how opens when you do that. That's the beautiful thing. Leaders do what they need to do with integrity and they live authentically, right? Think about the people that you are really inspired about in the world, whether it's somebody like Brene Brown or Oprah Winfrey or somebody else that you see in the world. They are doing what they need to do with integrity and they are showing up authentically. They're being themselves, right? They're being fully transparent. They are in the world doing what it is they need to do, but they do not give away their own integrity. They don't sacrifice their integrity and they don't sacrifice their own authenticity for success. And that's what we get to do as well. We get to claim our own alignment. What are we most alignment in with our values? And we get to own that. And we just get to show up and be ourselves. And we get to stay in integrity with what feels true and real for us. Okay. The next one is leaders make powerful, decisive choices, right? So this comes back to making those choices. If we don't make the choice, we don't get the feedback, right? So the 50 choices, I can make 50 and get 25 right. That is gonna, the things that didn't work are actually gonna give me so much more gold. Right? I'm going to be like, "Oh, good, that didn't work." And if you think about, that we've tried a lot of things, even if it doesn't have anything to do with our business, right? Maybe we were like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm going to like this food, but I'm going to try it." And you're like, "Yeah, I love it. Wow, I'm so surprised. Like, I didn't think I would like roasted Brussels sprouts with balsamic vinegar on it." We actually had tried ice cream. Me and my husband tried ice cream when we were out in Carmel one time, and it had like balsamic vinegar in it. And I'm like, "Ooh, I don't know if I'm going to like that." It was so good. We talk about it today. And that is just like, all right, like we're just going to make a choice, yes or no, right? The next one is there is no failure. There really is no failure. I firmly believe that with my heart of hearts, there is no failure. There have been things that I have thought were failures or I thought went wrong, but in hindsight, when I look back, it's one of the best things that could have happened. It's one of the best things that could have happened. So we get to, again, stay in that energy of abundance, which is, look, there's no way that this is going to fail. I am either going to get feedback on how I'm going to course correct and it's going to lead me to the next step, or I'm going to be learning and I'm going to be winning, right? And then leaders trust themselves and take the inspired action, right? So if we don't trust ourselves and if we're constantly going back and forth and never taking the action, then we're also not going to get the results, right? So once we make the decision, like if I'm like, all right, I'm going to ride the bike, I have to actually get on the bike. I have to actually do the thing, right? So if you are making the decision, whether you're here now live or watching the recording to build and grow your business, this is the time for you to lean in and trust and then take that next action with whatever it is that you need. If you need more support, I'm happy to help you. If you need to build out a program, happy to help you. But what you don't want to do is make the decision, yes, I'm going to build a business, but just stay curious and never take the action that you need to go in order to get the results you want. And then lastly, leaders are impact driven and give generously. One of my favorite ones too. We are here to make an impact. And so that means that we get to put value out in the world and give generously, right? Over the past 6 days, I have given generously, not only of my knowledge, but also of my time and of my coaching. And it's one of my favorite things to do because I know that giving generously is actually a universal truth, even if it doesn't come back in exactly the way that I think it should, right? It's never apples to apples, right? When we are generous, when we are putting value out in the world to make impact, it always comes back. Always comes back. There's no way that it can't. That is a universal truth. It's kind of like gravity, right? Even if we don't remember that gravity is working, when we walk out of our house, we don't ever worry that we're going to float off the earth up into the atmosphere, right? We trust because it's a universal principle. Same thing with value and generosity, right? That is a universal principle. It's why it is one of the mainstreams that we see in multiple religions, right? Karma is one. What you sow, you shall reap is another, right? So we get to, as an empowered leader, create impact in the world, give value, and give generously. These paradigms are going to propel you closer to your goal in the quickest amount of time possible because these are universal principles for which we are being an empowered leader, and our identity is actually in a success identity, right? So notice if we were worried about, I don't know, I can't give this away. Like, what if somebody takes it and does it all? I don't know, I can't collaborate with this person. What if they take my clients? Like, that's direct opposite to an empowered leader. Okay, great. So you get to choose a new way of being. And this is where you get to decide. Notice, what are you scared to say yes to that actually will open up possibilities and opportunities for your success? And this is how we kind of move through this. If we're like, yeah, I still don't know. Okay, great. What are you scared to say yes to? That you know that if you did say yes, it would open up possibilities, but you're still scared. And then what would future you that already has the success tell you about being afraid? What would future you tell you that already has the success? And then what empowered action can you choose from a place of trust, not fear? Right? So remember, if we're choosing based on fear because we're scared to make a decision, then we're still in scarcity. If we choose based on a place of trust, even if that choice is a no, that's great. That's great, right? Even if we're like, okay, I need to make a decision. Am I turning left or I'm turning right? If I turn right, I'm afraid that this might happen. If I turn left, I'm afraid that this might happen, right? Okay. Well, what would future you tell you about it? You get to choose either one, but you get to choose from a place of abundance, empowerment, and trust that whichever pathway you choose is going to work out. And then I'm going to give you a little ninja tip. I look for all of the reasons why that decision was the best decision ever. I actually start looking for evidence out in the world. The moment I make that decision, I'm like, great, these are all the reasons why this was the best decision I have made. Because what does our brain tend to do? It's pre-programmed to look for the negative. So we make a decision and then we're like, oh, maybe I made the wrong decision. Maybe I should make this one instead, right? So normal, but we have to be onto our brain because our brain is going to look for all of the reasons why it's the worst decision ever, right? I'm going to invest in my business, and it's the worst decision ever for me to actually triple my investment. That's just like the worst thing that could happen, right? I'm like, wait a minute, what? Like, that doesn't make sense, but yet our logical mind does that. And then just ask yourself what paradigm, and I know there's a spelling error there. By the way, for those of you that come into any of my programs, you will find spelling errors, and that's okay. And the reason why I don't worry about it is because it's more important for me to get the information out into the world than second guess and overthink things. So I'm totally cool if anybody's like, hey, that's not spelled right. I'm like, okay, good. We'll fix it later. Let's go. So which paradigm will you try on today just for the next 24 hours? Just for the next 24 hours, right? And really try it on. Like, notice, where are you being? What decisions are you making? Like, can you embrace and step into that level of identity that is going to help you get more of what it is that you want? Okay. So we have, and I've been making, an invitation to everyone here for, the past several days about, look, if you want the support, if you resonate with what it is that I'm teaching, if you don't resonate with what I'm teaching, totally great. You got your answer, right? First things first is, am I a yes for building a business? Am I a yes for having the support? Do I resonate with what Chris is saying? Do I want to learn her system? If that's a yes, then we get to take a look at the next step, which is, okay, what are some ways that I can come up with the investment in order to propel me forward to that? So you just get to decide, right? It's not about making a right or a wrong decision. It's about asking yourself, am I a yes? Do I have the complete system? Do I want the complete system? Right? We can be the most skilled coach in the world, but if we don't have a repeatable process for bringing new clients into our ecosystem, building relationships, and making offers, you will always be struggling with inconsistent income, right? And one of the things that I share is that when I finally stopped popsicle sticking and duct taping my business together and actually got a system together and learned a system and implemented it, so that I was attracting clients, connecting and building relationships and actually making offers, that's when I went from struggling. I remember the first year I was a functional nutritionist, I made $1,000. When I finally committed and said yes, I made six figures in 6 months. So you just get to decide right now. I can't promise that you're going to make six figures in 6 months. That would be out of integrity for me to say, I can guarantee that. But what I can guarantee is that if you come into the program and you show up for the calls and you implement, you will absolutely be so much closer to your goals that you're going to definitely make your return on investment. I want to help you double it, triple it, or even 10x it. Okay. And if you don't double your return on investment, and you take the actions and you do the things and you learn the things and you show up to the calls and you ask for support, you can stay in the program with me again until you do, because that is how much I know that this works. It's worked for me since 2018. It's worked for my clients like Jessica, who went from bankruptcy to six figures in 1 year, and from another client who had her first 10K month, and this is actually the same client. The first month she was in the program, she had her 10K month. Now, she was a little bit further along the freeway in that she had offers, right? She was like, okay, I'm ready. Tell me what to do to monetize this. I've got my offers. I've got my offer suite. I'm ready to go. $10,000 in her first month. Within her first quarter, that's 3 months, she brought in 27,000. By the end of the year, she created six figures and took her from bankruptcy to six figures. So it's totally, totally possible. So if you want to actually have this system, if you know that you are doing some of the things, but you're missing the rest, like, you might be posting, you're having some conversations, but you're still not converting them to sales, then the truth is you are missing one of the attraction, nurturing, or inviting components. You are missing either having a significant offer suite, you are missing actually doing the things that matter in your business. And so while you might be working hard and feeling productive, you're probably focusing on the things that are not the needle movers and not the generators. Okay? So this is what changes when you have the complete system. You attract ideal prospects consistently instead of hoping people will find you. Your marketing feels like you're speaking chocolate, not broccoli, and it actually builds genuine relationships instead of just collecting followers. I am not about vanity metrics. It doesn't matter to me if you were to say, I've got 10,000 followers. Great. Are they converting to buyers? If not, that means nothing, right? Sales conversations become natural because they already trust you. When you have that conversation, they already have an experience of you, so it feels a lot easier. You begin to protect your income instead of experiencing feast or famine cycles, right? So once you start making income, we want to make sure that you can actually continue it and build it predictably. You begin to work with clients who value your expertise, happily pay your rates. And that is really, really important because this isn't about just working harder. It's about putting the pieces together instead of just chasing the random tactics that you might be seeing other coaches doing. The Soulful Abundance System really is the 6 steps that are timeless principles. They have worked for me back then. They continue to work for me now. Even when others are actually going out of business, putting this system on repeat is not only what has helped me stay in business, but it is what has helped me increase my business year after year after year. So we're going to give you the entire system. We're going to give you support to actually implement, right? That's important because information without accountability and without action isn't going to lead to results. So we are going to make sure that you get the guidance, the feedback, the accountability to actually take the action on it. And we have a productivity coach and an accountability coach. We've got implementation calls every single month so that you are doing the work on the call with me, so that there's no way that you can like go away unless you pop off the call. Like I'm like, nope, we're doing it. Like, let's go. Right. And you have a community of peers. So that's important that, especially with solo entrepreneurs, that we are supported with a community of peers that are not only in it with us, but that are cheering us on, that want to connect and collaborate. And that's one of the beautiful things that I feel so, so blessed to witness is that the women that come into my community support each other. They bring each other onto their podcast if they have podcasts, or bring each other into a Facebook group if they have a Facebook group, where they, show up to their lives or they cheer each other on. Like there is nothing like that. So we want to make sure that you are surrounded by people who are cheering you on, so you don't have to figure it out alone. And we're also going to give you the tools that you need, not just like, okay, this is what you do. We're going to give you the proven template. So you are going to get email sequences. You're going to get workshop frameworks, exactly how to do what you're seeing me do. You are going to get my talks, like literally like my full talk. Like here it is, tweak it, use it. I give you 3 of them. One is called Get Your Spark Back. One is the secret sauce for women who lead. And one is how a talk that I did at a retreat center. So I'm giving you all of these things so that you can make it your own, because I want you to collapse the timeline. I don't want you wasting time on the things that I can create for you, or that I have created that you can take and that you can use and make your own. So I'm giving you all of those. So woo, this is good for you, right? So this is a perfect fit. Activate is a perfect fit for you if you love your coaching skills, but you struggle with the business side, right? If you want to build a sustainable business that also supports your life. If you're willing to follow a proven system instead of winging it, that doesn't mean that you can't take action, when you feel like it and fly by the seat of your pants sometimes, right? Totally fine for those of you that are those free spirits, not a problem. If you really want genuine support and accountability, not just information, and if you're serious about creating the income from your expertise, then Activate Abundance is right for you. Here's who it's not right for. If you just want quick tips, but you are not going to implement the system, this is not going to be a good fit for you. If you prefer figuring everything out on your own and still kind of like grabbing all of the freebies, by the way, and listening to like all of the multiple coaches or chasing bright, shiny object, like, no, it's not going to work for you, because we get overwhelmed and it's, too many chefs spoil the soup. If you're not willing to step out of your comfort zone, it's not going to work either, because we don't grow in our comfort zone. Okay. We have to be willing to step out of our comfort zone, and it's going to feel a little crunchy, right? It's going to feel a little wobbly, just like when we get on the bike and it feels a little wobbly, but we have to be willing to let it be a little wobbly until it doesn't. Because the truth is, anything new feels wobbly. Anything new feels wobbly, no matter what we do. And it's also not a good fit for you if you want overnight results without consistent effort. So this is not some passive income strategy just designed to, get you to buy this course and tell you that you're going to make money in your sleep. It's not. It takes effort. And now it doesn't have to take hard hustle, but building and growing a business, I'm not going to lie to you, it takes effort, right? It took effort for me to implement. Effort and action have to be a part of it. This is not about waving a magic wand and manifesting our way to success just from a magic wand. Manifestation is real, energy is real, mindset is real, but that happens so that we can take the action and implement instead of thinking that, oh, well, it's not really going to take any effort. One of the things that I have really been so frustrated about in the coaching world is when everybody is talking about how you don't ever have to work and everything's going to be so easy. And I'm like, that is so far from true. Like, it can be more easeful and it can be simple, but it still takes effort and it takes consistent effort. Okay. So, what could this mean for your life? Imagine that you actually have a business that supports your life. You wake up, you know what to do today. You've got your golden hour, you know what actions to take that are going to generate your income. You have clients who value your work and they actually refer others to you. And you are building something sustainable instead of constantly starting over. Again, that's one thing that I see. Even coaches that have been successful in the past, they burn it down and they start over again. We don't want to do that. Now, can we pivot? Can we tweak things? Absolutely. But we want to know that we are building sustainably and predictably and consistently over time. Most importantly, the reason why we all got in this work was to make the impact that we want to make here. And we get to be well compensated for the transformation that you provide. Okay. That is what becomes possible when you have the right system and you have the right support. And that is what I'm offering you for Activate Abundance Academy. So if you're tired of the inconsistent results, if you're tired of trying to figure out what to do, and you really want to build a sustainable business, then I am absolutely happy to hop on a call with you. And again, most of you know by now that I don't do pressure. I don't do pressure. I'll tell you like it is. I do not want to drag anybody across the finish line. I am not in to try to convince or persuade somebody. But I will absolutely hear where you are, what you're looking for, and I'll share with you whether or not it's a good fit for you or whether I see something else. Because we do have other options, in addition to Activate Abundance Academy, we have the Success Studio, and then we've got the two options inside of Activate Abundance Academy, which is Core and also Amplify if you want to add on more intimate one-on-one support. So book a call with me. Booking the call means no obligation. But I do ask that if you book the call, that you come with serious questions. Like, this isn't a free coaching call where you're like, well, tell me how I find a client today. I'm like, well, we talked about that on day 5. So go listen to that. But this is about really being like, Chris, I want to work with you. I'm a heart yes. I just have questions and I'm feeling unsure and I just want to make a decision about where I want to go. So again, no obligation, but definitely, book a call with me. And if you don't see anything on my calendar, reach out to me and let me know. Right? I'm happy to open something up so that we can get started right away. Especially, I want you guys to start pretty darn quickly because I want to get you in and onboarded so that when we start October, we can start helping you create that cash infusion that I talked about. So one of the bonuses that we give you when you join Activate, both Amplify and Core, is that for the month of October, we are going to be creating a cash infusion together. Think of it as a cash injection. We're going to help you create your offer. I froze again. We're going to help you create the offer and we're going to help you uncover who is going to be a best fit for it so that you can start bringing in income in your business quickly. And my goal is to help you create 2K to 10K, $2,000 to $10,000 in your first 30 days, And everybody who has gone through the cash injection with me, on the average, they have at least hit 2,000. Many have hit 5,000 and beyond, but the average is around 5,000 in their first 30 days. So if that feels like something that would support you, let's hop on a call and let's get you in so that we can get you going and get you started on that. All right. I can't believe it. I actually made it under an hour again. Yay. All right.
Great.
Yay. Yay.
And I
Yay.
think I'm scheduled with you on the 30th.
Yes, great. And I
Have a
do have
call.
something
Okay.
open next week. It probably wasn't on the calendar because I typically
Oh,
block out my last week, but I'll reach out
yeah.
to you. Yeah, and I'll see, we can actually have a conversation earlier.
Okay. That sounds good.
Good. All
Well,
right,
you
everybody.
too.
So this was day 6. Reach out to me, say hello, let me know what paradigm you're taking on. I want to know. Let me know if any ahas or insights popped up for you around the obstacles. And I will see you guys probably Monday. We have to redo yesterday's training around where to find paying clients in any economy because that one did not get recorded. So we're going to circle back around and we're going to do that again so that
Okay.
anybody who missed it. All right.
All right.
Yay.
Amazing.